Welcome back to the GSMC Hockey Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm back with the fourth segment of the night talking about the Carolina Hurricanes season preview as we get into the Seas now in our season preview. No, we had Calgary. We have been in the Seas. The Seas make up a bulk of the NHL teams, if you didn't know that. It's got Calgary, Carolina, Colorado, Chicago, Columbus, just so many teams with Seas. I think I forgot one. Did I forget one? Probably not, actually. But yeah, a lot of teams have C's in them, so this is a bulk of what we'll be talking about here. But anyways, for the Carolina Hurricanes, they had a few departures, a few big departures. They had Brady Shea, big piece of their blue line leaving in this offseason. Stefan Essen, a big forward, part of their top 9, sometimes in the top 6 last season as well, leaving. Brett Pesce, a defenseman, part of their top 4 in their defense, leaving, going to New Jersey. Teuvo Teravainen, a huge piece of their forward core, played on the first line for most of his tenure in Carolina. And Jake Guentzel, another forward that just played on the first line for a second round exit team in the Carolina Hurricanes. This team was really good. And now this team looks to be not so good, which is a little bit of the concern. The Carolina Hurricanes are the team that definitely regressed the most in the entire NHL this offseason. They lost 5 huge pieces from last year and replaced them with Jalen Chatfield, Tyson Jost, Shane Gostisbehere, Jack Roslovic, and William Carrier. So let's just look at this, right? Let's just look at these trades, 1-for-1 trades, right? Brady Shea, Shane Gostisbehere. That's sure. As long as you improved everywhere else, this is fine. Jalen Chatfield, Brett Pesce. Probably taking Brett Pesce there. Actually, Jalen Chatfield was a re-sign. Even he didn't even sign to this team. So, Riley Stillman, is that who you're replacing the defense with? Maybe, or Sean Walker's probably. So Sean Walker for Brett Pesce, probably taking Brett Pesce there, no doubt. Teuvo Teravainen, you replaced him with Jack Roslovic. He's had his moments in wherever he's been. He's a very streaky player, let me tell you that. But I definitely go Teuvo Teravainen over. I definitely go Teuvo Teravainen over Jack Roslovic. Jake Guentzel, Tyson Jost, probably downgrade there, and Stefan Essen, William Carrier, probably gonna go Stefan Essen there as well. They downgraded on all 5 guys that left their room. That's not how... And they went from a team that was on the outside looking into a championship contender from last season, now to this team has some holes, and some clear holes. When you look at the team's lines for next season, you're going to have Andrei Svechnikov, Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis. That's a good first line if Seth Jarvis can play to the level of play that we saw him play at. I just said play way too many times. But if he plays up to the level of play that we saw him play at in the series against the Islanders, I think that it could be pretty good first line. Next, Jack Roslovic, Evgeny Kuznetsov, and Martin Necas, pending Martin Necas, because he he still might not be on the team next season. That's not that great of a second line. Jordan Martinook, Jordan Staal, Jesper Fast, that's not that bad of a third line. And then William Carrier, Jack Drury, Jesperi Kotkaniemi. It's not a bad forward group. That forward group is pretty... The forward group is a playoff forward group. But the problem I have with this team is when we get to the defense. Jacob Slavin and Brent Burns. I don't think we can rely on Brent Burns being a first-line defenseman anymore. This guy, he's well past his prime. I mean, Brent Burns is 39 years old. I think he's going to be 40 by the... I think he's going to be 40 by the time we get to this... No, he's going to be 40 during next season. He's still making $8 million a year. I mean, this is the problem that you're having. He's making $8 million a year only for one more year, and And actually, for the Carolina Hurricanes, I believe another team is paying a third of that as well. So I mean, he's not making $8 million a year for Carolina, but he's still taking up five and a quarter for them on their cap space. That's way too much for a player that he's going to be 40 next year. I don't think he's going to, I know he's not going to play to the level that, Brent Burns is expected to play at. But he's not even, it's not going to be that great. And then Dmitry Orlov is making 7.75 for Dmitry Orlov's not that good. Jacob Slavin got extended. He's a good player. He's a good addition. I do like him a lot. That's going to be a rock in the defensive core. But Shane Gostisbehere, who was awful last season in Detroit. Jalen Chatfield, who's not that good, who plays in the bottom six for a reason. And Sean Walker, who, the jury's out on Sean Walker. Looking at his hockey reference page, it's not impressive, right? He last season played in only 18 games for the Colorado Avalanche, had 7 points, 63 games for the Flyers. In that season as well, only 22 points, so only 29 points in 81 games played in the season. Stayed healthy, but not gonna produce offensively for you. And the guy has had problems staying healthy in his career. In 2021, 2022 is out for almost all of the season. 2020, 2021, I think missed 2 weeks of action, and then in 18 and 19 only got 39 games played as well for the LA Kings. I don't think that he's going to be able to replace what you got from Brett Pesce. I know he's not going to be able to replace what you got from Brett Pesce. And then also your goaltending situation isn't that good. Freddie Anderson has just regressed. He just doesn't play at the level that you want Freddie Anderson to play. And then we still don't know what they're going to get from Kochetkov. We saw it flashes over the postseason, but it's still not enough to convince yourself that he's a starting goaltender at the NHL level. And then when you look at their prospect pool, it's just non-existent, is that the word? Because it's just non-existent. They have probably one of the bottom 5 prospect pools in all of hockey. So this team looks a little rough. Losing Teuvo Teravainen is a huge hit. Losing Jake Gensel is going to be a huge hit. Losing Brett Pesce, losing Brady Shea, losing any one of these guys is going to be difficult to replace. You lost 5. You lost 5 guys of that caliber. Nesson, Pesce, Shea, Teravainen. Who was the 5th one? Gensel. It's not something that you can replace very easily, and it's not something that they were able to replace. They signed Jack Roslovic to a 2.8 for only 1 year. Just they have way too many forwards that just aren't that great, right? William Carrier, Jesper Fast, Jack Roslovic, Jordan Staal, who is going to be 35, 36 next season, Jordan Martinook, just not that great of forwards, and you're relying on this team to go out and be a playoff team. They still don't have Nichas or Seth Jarvis signed, by the way, and Jack Drury is not signed. All 3 of their RFAs still don't have contracts. This team doesn't look like it's going to be too good. I would be a little bit worried for the Carolina Hurricanes. Where do I have them for next season? Well, I honestly think that they're going to be on the wild card line. It's going to be a difficult spot. I think that they're going to end up with 87, 88 points. Is that enough for a wild card spot? I don't know. And especially with the Atlantic and the other teams in the Metro getting so good. The Devils, I think, are going to be way better next season. I think the Islanders are going to be worse. But, the Capitals look like they want to be really good. The Rangers aren't going to go anywhere. The Flyers might be extremely good with Matvei Michkov. We don't know what that looks like. As I already said, the Devils and the Rangers, the Devils, the Capitals are all probably going to be playoff teams next season. And then that leaves, if the Atlantic doesn't take the last wild card spot, That leaves the Hurricanes, the Islanders, the Penguins, and the Flyers all competing for that last wildcard spot. And that's without the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets can surprise everybody. They've had a top 3 prospect pool the last 5 years. Is this going to be finally the year that their prospects play to the level that we all thought they were going to play? Probably not, but it's potential. I might have the Carolina Hurricanes on the outside looking in right now. I think I have them 5th in the Metro, around 88 points. That could be a shock to some people, but this team honestly doesn't look that great. So that'll wrap it up for the Carolina Hurricanes season preview. When I come back with my 5th and final segment of the night, we will be talking about the Chicago Blackhawks and give the season preview for a team that is looking to come out of a rebuild or still in their rebuild. We'll talk about that in our 5th and final segment on the GSMC Hockey Podcast.